Coming to you live from the shadow of the big house, it's IT for You. Tips and tricks on ITS tools, products, services, and more with your host, Gene Mackey. Hey, good morning, everybody, and welcome to IT for You. I'm your host, Gene Mackey. Before we get started, I want to bring up a quick poll because we're just interested. There's a difference between Inbox by Gmail and your regular inbox. So just interested if anybody's actually tried it. Oh, I guess a few people have. Okay. Give it another minute here. So I'll just say these are live webinars brought to you by Information and Technology Services on various products and tools and services that we support. Okay, cool. So, yeah, 3 of you have actually given it a try. If you're having any audio or video problems during the live webinar, let us know in the chat pod. If it's not on our end, we can offer some troubleshooting tips. If you're watching the YouTube recording of this right now, look in the description field and you'll see a link to a Google Doc that's got all the resource links that we'll provide at the end. If you do need an accommodation to participate in our live webinars, just give us a little bit of a heads up. The recordings will be closed captioned. What's coming up? Something else related to Google. How do you collaborate with shared accounts? So some people have done their project work in C-Tools, and that's changing. And so what do we do now? So that's going to be Mary Beth Stunkel, and that's 1st of December, and that link is live right now. Today, we have Inbox by Gmail by my friend Monica Hickson, who's also from ITS. And without any further ado, I'm going to turn it over to Monica.
Thank you, Jean. My name is Monica Hickson from ITS, as she had mentioned, and I'm here to show you Inbox by Gmail, which is a little bit different. Currently, I have my regular inbox open to show you exactly what it looks like if you're using it, of course. And to get to your Inbox by Gmail, what you would do is simply type in inbox.google.com and go through all the prompts at that point. There are some major differences. I'm very excited to show you this because Inbox by Gmail helps you actually use your email more like a task system. And there's a lot of really neat features. So when you first come into your email, the first thing that you usually do is to see exactly what new emails you have. So looking at my inbox, I've opened my email, and I'm looking at it, and I see some messages that appear to be bold. The bold messages are the new messages, which you'll also see it says today. And as I look at my email, I sit down and I'm trying to figure out which ones to probably look at first. So I just have this email. I said, oh, this is by Gene. Maybe I should open it. It may be important. When I click on this email, I'm like, oh, it's just a test email. So that being said, I can either respond to it, I can disregard it, or a couple of new features I can mark it as done. So what you'll see over here, I have a few icons. I'm going to explain these in a second. But what you may notice as soon as I open Gene's email, I have this interesting thing that says a reply, and I have a couple of options here, a couple of comments that, let's say I'm busy working and I really don't have time to really think about what I want to say. These are almost like canned responses, but they're not called canned responses, they're called smart replies. And with the smart reply, I can just say, great, it works, got it, or success. Not any of these necessarily work in this case, but let's just say it does. I can just click on any one of these and it'll automatically put it in the email, and it says draft because I have to send it. And once I send it, then at that point it will go to Gene. But let's say that, I really don't need to respond to her at all. And if that's the case, I can do what's called mark as done with a little check mark over here in the upper right-hand corner. So mark done, I can say, well, it's just a test email. I mark it as done and it disappears from my inbox. looking forward, I said, okay, there's a lot more bold messages, which a lot of you see probably first thing in the morning, a lot of bold messages. So I'm looking at this one. And I'm like, oh, this is something I may want to review. It's more of educational development of some sort. This, again, I'm like, I don't necessarily need to mark it as done. I just need to trash it. I don't need to read it for this case. And what I see in the email is a trash can that says, if I hover over it, delete. So I can go ahead and delete that message. So as you can see, there's a lot of things that I can do when I first go into my email and check my email. So let's do just a couple more so you can see some of the additional options. First of all, if I scroll down, it says Google Mail. This was a reminder from my Google Calendar to remind me to come to Boyer at a particular time. So I don't even have to necessarily open this. Yes, Jean?
Sarah says, if you delete the message in the Google inbox, does it reflect that action in the regular email?
It does, yes. That is correct. So here's my Google Calendar. And again, I don't necessarily need to open this. This is another exception where I can just either mark it as done or trash it. So I have two of these options here. If I want to actually send this along or forward to someone, let's open up Larry's email. He sent something and I'm reading it. I said, okay, this is great. I'd like to forward this to a colleague. What you'll notice, you have two sets of dots. One that says move to at the top where the header is, and then you also in the body of the email you have your reply, forward, and more. These are different. If you do not open your email, you will not see these. And for a while I was trying to figure out how would I respond. So if I click on these, you'll see that I have the option if I want to forward this, because I'm like, oh, this sounds interesting. I can forward this to my colleague, and I'm going to forward this message to Eric. And I'll go ahead and, as traditionally, I can just start typing his name, and Eric's name will pop up, and I can forward this email to him if I wish. And then I'm going to select send. So then you'll see down here that it says me. I sent this to Eric. Okay, and then I'm like, I'm done with it now. I'll let Eric handle that. So I can click the check mark, and again, it is archived as done. So what I want to also show, going over here, or actually let's scroll down a little further. What's new about the Inbox by Gmail as well, you'll notice that if there's attachments, like with this one from Leon Howard, there are attachments, and I can actually see the pictures of the graphics of these attachments, which is really awesome. So I don't have to necessarily open the email if I don't choose to. I can just look at the graphics. Of course, it's a little hard to see that. Yes, Jean?
Eric says, what happens in Gmail when you mark something as done in Inbox?
Yes, done as Inbox, it will archive it. So it will be archived where trash will actually delete it. So the terminology is a little bit different, but it works pretty much the same as your email. There are a couple of different variances, and I'll speak to the terminology as I go through as well. So thank you for the question.
A couple more questions.
Yes, a couple questions?
Here, yeah.
Okay. All right, so I'll move on. So you'll see that, again, if there's attachments in the email, you will see them. But I'm going to scroll down just a little further and talk about what's called bundling. What you might have used labels for in your regular email account, labels are now called bundles. And whatever labels that you already had set in your original email are now going to be bundled. You can also create new bundles. So if I'm in a group, let's say, you'll see where it says infrastructure emails. These are all of the emails that I have from one particular group or one particular department, let's say. I can bundle these in one group. So you'll see how the icon looks a little bit different. It's gray. It looks like an envelope. It's kind of gray. So if you notice, there's a 25 next to that. Those are how many emails that are actually in my bundles of emails. So everything is related to infrastructure. What I'm going to guide your attention to is over here on the left-hand side. You'll see, if I scroll down, and you'll see on the left-hand side, I have an option that says bundled in the inbox. These are the ones that are bundled. And what bundle, again, would mean are related emails to either a department, a person, or some procedure. So I have some bundles already, all performance support, infrastructure. I just did a sample one so you would see it. and webinars, because I take a lot of webinars. So therefore, I want to make sure that when I click on this, I see all the webinars so I can come back to it. You know, when your day gets busy, so you want to bundle something so that you know maybe at a later time you can come back to that. So let me show you how to create that too. I'm going to scroll all the way down. As I'm scrolling down, you'll also notice I have unbundled, located right here where it says unbundled. These are the unbundled folders or messages. In my regular email, these were labels. So you'll see that I have Accessibility, Captivate, a lot of these. So that's why I have more than probably the average person, because I used a lot of labels. So I keep scrolling down, and you'll see where it says Create New. So I can click on Create New. And let's say I want a bundle of just, we'll do Amanda's emails. I just want Amanda's emails. And I can call it Amanda's emails, or emails, or whatever you want. So I'm going to click Save. And then it'll ask me, do you want me to automatically add these messages from anything that comes in from Amanda? Do you want me to automatically add these to the bundle? I can click Add, and then it can say who it's from. Yes, we have a question.
Lisa says the sub-labels previously set up and now individual bundles. Is there a way to combine bundles?
That's a good question. I would have to probably get back to you on that one. I haven't used that one as of yet.
And Ron is also saying,
yes.
I assume that bundles can have subfolders. So can you have several bundles within bundles?
Not to what we've seen. Right now, what I'm showing is that you can actually show two different components in it, but not really. Let me get back to you on that one. Again, that part I have not used to have sub-bundles, because it's just easier for what I've used it for to just have bundles and create separate bundles. So then here it says automatically add messages, and I can add a person's name. Let's use Eric. I don't want to keep using Eric, but it's just easier that way. So anything from Eric I can say, or anything from Amanda could go into this. So I can just say save, and here I have the option as well to turn on the bundle or not turn on the bundle. So this is a toggle key. I think there's another question coming in.
So Ron says bundles within bundles, yes. What happens for existing labels that have sub-labels when moving to Inbox by Gmail?
Those, let's see, like for instance, let's see if I had one. I don't know if I had any over here. These are my labels that came over as unbundled. I believe, and let me double check on this because I'm not 100% sure, if I think I had one of these were sub-labels and I can't remember which one it was.
Lisa's saying they are in individual bundles.
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking, because I think this one was underneath this bundle. So they come in, and that's probably why I have so many, because I had, I think, only one sub label. Most of them were just regular labels. So you're going to see that if you do that in your inbox, that you're going to have multiple ones. And you may want to go back and clean those up actually later, like I may do, because it took me so long to scroll down. And a lot of these I'm not using anymore either.
And let me just say that when we send out the recording, we will send out responses to parking lot issues.
Yes, thank you. So where was I? With the bundle. Again, you can turn this off or you can turn it back on, and you'll see as I scroll down a little bit that you can show it messages arrive once a day or once a week, how you would like to set your bundles. So I'm going to just go ahead and close this so you can see. And currently there isn't anything in Amanda's email bundle because I haven't set anything there. And it looks like we have another question. Yes?
Two comments.
Okay.
Lisa asks, if I clean them up in the old version, should it update the inbox? And then Ron says, ouch, not being able to have sub-bundles is a disqualifier for me and I suspect others.
Okay. Yes, sorry about that. I don't know of a workaround at this moment. Again, that can be something I can take back and see exactly if there's a workaround with that. So.
Okay.
So after I created the bundle, you'll see over on the left-hand side, bundled in the inbox, you'll show Amanda's emails, the one that I just created. And again, there isn't anything in there as of this time. What you'll also see is like a little gear to the right of that bundle. These are the same settings. So if you click on that, it's a toggle key as well, and you can make updates as needed. So let's go back. I'm going to go back to my inbox up on the upper left-hand side of the screen so you can see all of my emails that are here. What you'll also see is that Inbox by Gmail adds their own bundles as well, such as promos. This is very helpful, especially if you subscribe to a lot of training magazines or work-related emails, or maybe you just signed up for Steinmart like I did. They're promos. So anything that comes in that's more like an advertisement, it automatically bundles the information for you. So if I were to click here, you'll see it says 3 new, and these are the ones today, and I can go on and see all my promos. I really don't look at these on a regular basis because I don't need to. But clearly, if I move back over to the left-hand side, what you will see is that again, when I scroll down, you'll see trips, saved, purchases, finance, social, and promos. These are the ones that are already created. So if you fly a lot, or if you have a lot of business trips, they'll automatically go into trips. There are some purchases. If you've made any purchases, if I click there, you'll see there's a couple that I've made. And again, it'll show you a picture of any PDF files or anything that has been attached. Finances, you'll see that as well. Automatically, it knows. Social and your promos, again, and they're already bundled for you. And you have the option, again, if you like to unbundle those. So, going back to my inbox up on the upper left hand, because this is where you'll probably spend most of your time. Again, what I can do, I'm looking at, let's see, this particular email. So I'm going to go back into an email. And I can say, this looks pretty interesting. I probably need to follow up on this. It's pretty important. I can pin an email. And when we're talking about pinning an email, if you see right here, your header, it says pin to the inbox. And I'll show you where these live a little bit later. But I can pin this, which means that it's something that's important I can come back to. And you'll see that when I hover away from it, that it's a little blue pin now, showing me that this is something I need to follow up on. Now, that being said, up on the title bar right here, you'll see a little push pin. If I click and move that over to the right, these are all the options that I have in my inbox that have been pinned to remind me that I need to come back to them. They're pretty important. So again, this is only showing the pinned options. If I click back over here, I'm showing everything in my inbox, including my pin options. And I pinned a couple of others so you can see what they look like. There's a blue pin here, there's a blue pin here, and so forth. Okay, so now I'm going to open up yet another email so I can show you a couple of different other options too. Let's say that are there any questions before I move on? Any questions? Okay. We'll go ahead and move on then. So I have another email. I'm just clicking on a variety so I can show you this one as well. There's a new feature called Snooze. Snooze is great. When you click on an email, you have an option on the bar that says that you can snooze. It looks like a little clock. This will allow you to snooze an email for a later time. You have a lot of things going on, and again, the reason why you would want to use Inbox is more to manage your emails, like a task list. So I'm like, well, I need to see this, but not right now. I have other things that I really need to see. So that being said, I can snooze this for a later date, or I can actually pick a date. I actually like picking a date and time because none of these may not really work for me. So I'm going to click Pick Date and Time. And when I pick or select a date and a time, the calendar shows up. And then I can hover over and I say, let's snooze this until today's fine, but maybe 2 o'clock instead of 1. So I can just click and change my time. Easy as that. And I can save it, and it will snooze it and come back into your inbox at that particular date and that time. Looks like we have another question.
2 questions. One is, so snooze is similar to boomerang, ? And Jen wants to know, what does someday do?
Okay, I'm not familiar with boomerang necessarily. Sorry about that. And you asked about the other one, and I'm going to click. Someday, when you click on someday, it just kind of puts it out of your inbox, and it will return late. I've never really wanted to use that. I tried that, and I haven't found that email yet, so I'm not sure exactly what someday. I usually like to set a specific date and time, let's say on Fridays, because that's the time that I have to do a lot more follow-ups than any other day of the week.
And so, Eric says, yes, it is similar to boomerang.
It is similar to boomerang. Great. Thank you, Eric. So now let's say that you have to actually compose an email. So you're probably used to doing that, but let me show you where that's housed or how you can do that here in Inbox by Gmail. You'll see over here, there's a little red circle with a pin on it, and I can compose an email from here. So, but what you may be noticing is that there's two faces and a D above this as well. Let's say that I compose emails to a lot of the same people, like my group or my team. If I do, their faces will appear here. So Jean, for instance, if I want to send Jean an email, instead of actually clicking the compose, I can just click on her icon. And while doing that, you'll see that it opens up already with Jean Mackey, her information, and then I just have to type a subject. So we're just going to do test. And I can send her an email at this point, like you traditionally would do. However, let's say that you have a template already in store that you want to use. You can create templates so you don't have to create the same email over and over again. So let me show you how to do that. So at the bottom, you'll see that there's, next to the trash can moving back over to the left, there's a drop-down arrow. And right above that, it says templates. And if you click on templates, you'll see I've made a couple already, or some that actually transitioned from years ago that I had in my email. So I'm going to use the first one, have a great day. So I'm going to click on that. And again, this was already composed, and I'll show you how to do that. So if I just want to reach out to Jean and say have a great day, it's already there for me. I don't have to really add anything else. So that being said, and then I could just hit send. But before I hit send, let me show you more about the templates. So if I click on templates again, you'll see I already have some that are custom already, but I can say make this draft a template. When I click on the plus sign, or this right here where it says make this draft a template, two windows appear. One with the actual email I was starting, and then this is the actual template itself that I can create to be used at another time. We have another question.
Eric says, are the templates my canned responses from Gmail?
Yes, that is correct. Yes.
Thank you, Eric.
So, for instance, let's say instead of have a great day, let's say I want to call this, I don't know, motivation. Yes, and it looks like we have another question coming in as well.
Jessica said, so if you have that Gmail Lab canned messages, if you put that in, I'm assuming you will have to start over and create templates.
No, mine were still in there.
Okay.
So if you look here, let me just show you here. A lot of these were very old messages that I have from like 4 years ago, 4 or 5 years ago actually. So they came over, yes. I was actually pretty shocked by that too. I'm like, wait a minute, I have to get rid of that template. So if I want to create a new one, I just call this motivation and I select create. And then when I go back into my templates, you'll see that I can click back here, and motivation is now a template that I can use. You can use this for a lot of like canned responses or templates that you do, let's say payroll or whatever the case may be. You can set this up. It's a time saver. It's really nice. So I'm just going to go ahead and hit send. Everything else is pretty much the same. Yes, another question.
So Kelly says, if you convert to the new inbox and don't like it, can you convert back to Gmail?
Excellent question. I'm going to show that a little bit later on, but that's an excellent question. Yes.
And Betsy wants to know, are templates organized by time or alphabetical order?
Let's see. I would say probably looking at what I've already had, it's not alphabetical order, but these were really old, so it would definitely probably have to be by time. These three were created 4 years ago or more, and these were just created within the last minute or 24 hours. So, excellent question, by the way. So I'm just going to send, and again, everything else works pretty much the same. Like if you want to add people here with the drop down, you have your CC and your BCC line. So I'm just going to send that to Jean. Are there any questions at this time? Okay, great. So going back to the compose, again, I can compose from scratch here if I don't see a person's name. But another thing that I really like about this that you'll see right above the compose is a reminder. Again, remember this is more like using your email as a task list. So what's better than a reminder? So I'm going to click on reminder. And this is very important for me. So let's say pick up milk. Okay, and you see as soon as I start typing, actually, it gives me a couple. I did not put all of these in. It just gives you a helpful kind of like presets. So I can say, oh, we have milk and eggs. Okay, so I can just click on this and hit save. I also can snooze this for a later time as needed. So I can set a reminder with a snooze. So I'm going to do that. So I'm going to click this, and I can say later today at 6, because that's about the time I'll probably go to the grocery store anyway. Go ahead and click on that, and you'll see the snooze appears. And now I can click save. Okay, and because you won't see it in my inbox because it has been snoozed, or I can set others as well, and they'll automatically appear. As you'll see when I scroll down just momentarily right here, it says reminder, make doctor's appointment. And again, at that point, if I said I've already done so, I still have my other options. Okay, so that being said, we're going to go back over again here. Where, so if I want to see all my snooze items, because I'm like, what did I snooze? And maybe I need to handle that a little quicker than what I thought I did. Over on the left-hand side, I have what's called snoozed. And when I click here, these are all the items that have been snoozed. And it will tell you when they're going to be activated again. So I have one that was snoozed until 2 o'clock today, one that was snoozed for today at 6, and then you have some others as well. And we have yet another question. Good.
Julie says, will these reminders sync to my Android phone that has my Google Work Calendar synced to it?
Yes, actually, if we had more time, which we don't, there's a whole piece on syncing to phones, and this is excellent on phones as well. The layout may look a little bit different on your phone if you have an Android or iPhone, but it has some of the same capabilities that you have. And yes, it does work. I wish I had time to show it again. I do not. But Jean at the end is going to show you a couple of resources where you can get that information from, and it's very helpful on the go, on the rush. So yes. Okay. So you can see your snooze items here. As the same, you can see anything that you've marked done over here. So if you need to refer back to it, you can as well. If you're in the middle of the email, you still have your drafts and your sent. So everything else is pretty much set up as it was in the past. So I'm just going to scroll down because, again, this is my bundled list. So let's find an email. I'm going to go back to inbox. Pardon me, sorry. I'm going to go back to my inbox. And I'm going to find something to put into a bundle. Let's see. For instance, this email from Amanda. So let's say that I know it's from Amanda and it's something that I wish to see later. The 3 dots that I have over here on the side of the email, because remember there's 2 sets. One if you open the email and one if you do not open the email. So this allows you to move to. So I can say it's coming from Amanda. It must have something to do with our team. That being said, I can say, well, let's put this in the infrastructure email bundle. And once I do that, it's gone from my inbox. Notice in the bottom left-hand corner of my screen, I can have the option to undo this. You only have 8 seconds, so I wouldn't take the chance until the 8-second point. If I decided, nope, I'm going to hit undo, notice how it brings Amanda's email back to my inbox. So I can say, well, no, that's okay. I could have done that, but maybe I want to put it in Amanda's email instead of the infrastructure folder because I set up something specifically for Amanda. I can click here, and again, it's going to do the exact same thing. And again, I have 8 seconds to undo that option. And it always says, always do this too. There's an option there too. We have another question.
Sarah says, can you remove an email from a bundle at any time?
One specific email? Yes. So for instance, let's go ahead and get a bundled item. So here's a bundle item. So I'm just going to click on infrastructure email. And let's say one of these emails I don't want. I'm just going to pick one. I don't know which one to pick. I'll pick, oh, yes, I can pick this, is fine. And so at this point, what I can do, I can move it, I can mark it as done, I can pin it. If I needed to, I can forward. So the option, I can forward this back and move it to something else. This option here too, where it says pop out and reply, you don't really need to use that, but I can forward this out to something else if I need it to. Let's see. Another option that you may want to do is you may want to mark it done. So let's say if it's in a bundle, you know you don't need it anymore, you can mark it as done. So there's a couple of options. You can also say move it to another bundle. It depends upon what you wish to do. Or you can move it to spam. That's an option too. Yes.
Kelly says, if you bundle into Amanda's email, can you also keep it in inbox like you can with labels now? And then she says, never mind bundle in inbox.
Okay. So I think that was answered. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay,
that's
great.
her question.
So, okay. Great. So I'm going to go back to inbox once again. So inbox is probably where you're going to spend the most of your time because it, again, remember task list. The whole purpose of using inbox by Gmail is to eliminate some of these emails in your inbox by either snoozing them, completing them, marking them as done, or moving them, setting reminders, all sorts of things. So a lot of these, for instance, I'm just going to say done. Notice by the Google Calendar, though, I just want to show this to you. I think this was great. If you're running late for a meeting or you forgot you had a meeting, you've gone to the water cooler, you've come back, and you're like, oh, I was supposed to be in a retreat, let's say right now. It'll tell you it's happening now. So that's kind of a clue that you're late for something. If it's already occurred and you don't need it, again, I can just delete it. And I'm going to just delete a couple of these. Okay? So now, one other thing that is very important is how to set up some of these settings. So going back to the left-hand side, under the bundled in the inbox, remember we have the unbundled. And remember I have a lot. So it is best to probably clean these up at some point. So I'm going to go all the way down here and go to what's called settings. This is very important. All the goodies are hidden under settings usually. So we have a couple of different things. This is still called labels here. So these were the labels that you had in your regular email. And you can, let me back up just for a second and say that you can actually work in inbox and have side by side your regular email. So at any given time you can toggle back and forth. We're not saying that you have to use this. We're just saying that you could use this more of a task list if you wish. Sometimes I keep both of mine open so that I can see, well, what were labels? But you can also find that out right here as well. So these are some of, you'll see at the very top, these are my bundles, and they're all turned on. You can also turn these bundles on or off. They're toggle keys. I can turn off Amanda's if I wanted to. And what will happen, all her emails will come back regular in my inbox because it's not bundled anymore. But I'm going to turn that, and you might have noticed that behind my screen, how things are popping in and out of my inbox because I turned Amanda's emails off, or her bundle off. And I can scroll down and see the rest of these as well. And all these are turned off because I don't need them right now. I may end up just getting rid of them. So these are where all of the labels are located. We have signature over to the left. This is where if you, same as your regular signature, you can turn this on and off. You can set your custom signature. This is the one that I currently just have on. If I don't want this to appear when I compose an email, I just simply turn that off. Snooze. This is where you have the capability as well. I showed you another area, but you can snooze this and set your times accordingly. You can also set your weekend. Some people think that the weekend is Saturday and Sunday, and some may just say it's just Saturday or just Friday, and you have some options in here. Okay.
Let's see.
And another question. Yes.
I think Ron says, inbox has a lot of great potential. I like everything I see other than the lack of sub-bundles. I have several labels, bundles that go 3, 4, 5 levels deep. Exploding that out would create a nightmare for my personal organization. Can the sub-bundle feature be verified with Google and the answer provided in the UMich Collab forum?
Okay. Yes, we can look into doing that. Yes, that is, I can understand that because I know a lot of people were creating sub-bundles at one point, a lot of levels. So we will have that information for you later. I just want to verify because if it's the way I think it is, it will be broken out separately, and that is going to be probably a lot of unbundled bundles for you. So let's go back to settings where I was and the templates. This is where all the templates are. Again, you've seen this before. It's just where you can delete these now if you wish. If I hovered over any one of these, I can delete. So I'm going to hover over this one because it's very old. I don't need it. I'm going to select delete. And it says delete. Yes, action can be undone. It cannot be undone, so that's fine. Just go ahead and close out of a couple of these. And then the one that everyone's been looking forward to is the other. So yes, but we have another question.
Betsy says, can you move templates up or down as projects change over the year?
Good question. No, I have not been able to find that. It's pretty, I'm trying to move right now. No, I was looking for something similar myself, so that's an excellent question. So we'll see if that, but as you know, Google changes all the time, so who knows what's going to happen. That's the one key thing. So look for our website. Again, that information is going to be after this particular session, and there'll be some information out there, and if there are some updates, you'll be able to see them. So on the left-hand side, the last one, the other, this is very, very important because we had a question earlier about, let's say that I'm in my inbox and I want to change back to my regular email and not inbox by Gmail. That being said, then I have this option that says redirect Gmail to inbox.google.com. And a couple of us in our department, we do have both open at the same time because there are some features that you may want to use in one as opposed to the other. So if you click check mark, it says always take me to inbox when I visit Gmail in a web browser, so you have that option too. One other option I want to show is this keyboard shortcuts. I'm not going to check this, but if you wish to, this is where you can do so. Okay, so let me show you this other one. Make notifications stay on the screen longer. Notifications will stay on 30 seconds. Oh, we have another question, sorry.
Actually, Sean just says, in my opinion, comment, you should get away from nested labeling. We've worked with many staff members in our department to simplify labeling within Gmail. Simply using search, advanced search works well. Yes, I realize people like to use labels like folders. Okay, thanks for your opinion, Sean.
Okay, thank you. So I'm just going to close out of this, and I'm going to show you that keyboard shortcut. So if I do Shift and my question mark, the keyboard shortcuts show up. That's holding down your Shift key and your question mark. And you'll see all of these wonderful shortcuts that can be used. If you're a shortcut user, like some of us are, these are easy, especially your pen, because you may be doing that on a regular basis, or opening or closing or all sorts of things. So just wanted to make you aware of that. I'm going to go ahead and close out of that. So one thing that someone just brought up was searching, which I was going to get to, but I want to get to that right now too. Searching, it's a little bit different, but you can still search for what you're looking for. So search is still up at the top. Let's say I want to search for Amanda's emails, and I can just start typing. Is there another question, Jean?
Lisa said that was part of my question, how to get rid of them. If you unbundle them, it just puts them back into your inbox.
Yes, it will put them in your inbox, and then from that point, if you need to mark them as complete or done, you can do so, or delete them, or put them in another bundle.
And Eric says, can I mute a conversation in inbox like I do in Gmail?
Yes, you can. Yes.
Thank you, Eric.
Yes, thank you, Eric. So I'm searching. Let's say that I know there was an email from Amanda that came in. I'm not sure what it was titled, but if I search for Amanda's emails, will they show up? So as you see, as soon as I start typing Amanda, you'll see that I have some options, and this is what the Amanda that I want to see. And there's a lot of them. I know that there was advanced search before. It's not as, the search works a little bit different. So there's pros and cons to everything. But as I scroll down, I'm seeing that's like, where is that email from Amanda? And I scroll down and I go, oh, yes. It was a communications email. This is it. And I can actually find it from here. Sometimes you can do more like Amanda, search, and let's say, and Eric. Or,
2 minutes.
Yes. And then I can search however I wish. It doesn't look like there's any emails there. There's no results that came back. So, all right. So it looks like we're running out of time. So let's just go back, and I'm going to click over on the left-hand side here and scroll up. See why I need to get rid of some of mine, and I'm going to return back to my inbox. One thing there's a couple things I want to show, so let's see if I can get to it. This Eric from email, it says it was snoozed an hour ago. This is what it looks like when it appears back into your inbox. It'll say snooze 1 hour ago, it's back in. You can make the determination if you want to snooze it again or not. So you have that option too. There is something that you may like and you may not like. This option right here, over your email, there's a little check mark with 3 lines, and it's called Sweep. And what that is going to do is mark unpinned items as done. This can be tricky and it's a little bit scary if you haven't used it because you're like, oh my God, what is that really going to do? So if I click on that, it says Sweep marks all unpinned items in this section as done. And I read that for a purpose because I don't want you to think it's just everything. But if you say got it and then you realize, wait a minute, there's more than 34 messages here. Do I really want to do that? Even if I hit OK, I still have that undo. Remember, I have 8 seconds counting down. So I can say, maybe I need to check to make sure I want to do that. So I'm just going to hit undo because I'm not very confident that that's what's going to happen for me. So that's about all I have time for, and I thank you so much for your time. I'm going to turn it back over to Jean. Thank you.
And thank you, Monica. There. That's a great info. Get back to my PowerPoint. So this Google Doc, this link is live right now. It's got some resource links, and we'll also add some additional information between now and when I send out the recording. If you want to look at other recordings of other webinars, that playlist is right here. The overall web page is right here. If you want to get announcements of upcoming IT for You episodes, this is an M Community group. And if you need additional help, contact for help. So, I agree, Ron. I think Monica did a fabulous job. And we're going to stop recording right now. Please stick around to give us a little feedback in the polls.